we have. So Creswell, Lincoln Gupta, and many other scholars. Silverman. So ito yung mga leading luminaries natin in the field or in the methodology called qualitative research. So Ronel, how much, to what extent have you been trained, say, in qualitative research in UM when you're
Um,
doing your PhD at UM?
sir, not, uh, personally, sir, kuan man sir, dili kay ko kuan sa
Dili kayo sa
interview.
inana ka-Fauro, no?
Mo nang kuan ako ang mga researcher, dili kayo naga-engage
Dito
og
ka sa
kuan
Quante.
paling. Opo.
Pero maibog ko sa imo, Ronel. Honestly speaking, maibog ko tungod sa imong qualification. I hope you can consider joining USEP later on when there's opportunity. I mean, don't get jealous, everyone. Depende kasi sa field yan. Tapos sa public ad ngayon, sa COPC, kailangan namin talaga mag-strengthen ng public ad ng mga PhDs na makatudlo din sa undergrad at saka masters. And Ronel is just really one of those in the community na talagang gaya ko siya. Tawag yan, vertically articulated. Tama ba, Ronel? Yun yung term dun eh, vertically articulated. Public ad from womb, and then I think from tomb din ito, to the tomb. Pero gaba. Pero ginana ang may tabo.
Mangita sa kog minyuan sa mental, sir.
Ay, kasamok. Na ay mga minyuanan dito doon. Pagka, be careful what you wish, ha? Kay, nag-joke po ako sa iya, ha? The same joke. Iko, di na ako litokon. Iko, kabalo kung saan ako pagkuhan. Kuhaon ako si Ronel, anak ko. Pero that's just a possibility, Ronel. I hope you can consider that. And I think whatever is your rank now, BP designation man na, and then at least, unsa na kaaso na ka?
Sir, assistant 4, sir.
Pero transfer na dong.
Lagi, sir. Puhon, sir.
Transfer lang din na. I-assign na po, i-appoint na po ka na mo din, hindi man dyan gusto magpa-appoint og din. So, di ba?
Ayo, sir, oy. Mag-research na, sir.
From time to time, I know experience is the best teacher. But anyway, we're just going to talk about that in a separate occasion. And so today, let's actually welcome everyone. And I think this is just going to be one of the last interactions that we are going to have. The next 2 Saturdays will be spent for the final exam. But I think I would still be postponing the final exam. It will be a week after the announcement next week. Someone is going to join. Who is going to join? Melanie. Okay. Yes, welcome, Melanie. Mayong hapon. One of the few interactions that we are going to have is probably this one. So parang third ito, and then the final will be the last exam or the final exam. And then 2 others or 1 Saturday more for the quantitative part. But in the quantitative part, it's just going to be like a fast rundown of, say, the basic tools for the test of difference, test of relationship, and say, how about if we endeavor to go to a factor analysis? Because factor analysis is a favorite item during the comprehensive exam. And then what I found out, I don't know, the extent upon which, like, yourselves now, in terms of your prowess, capability, skill, talent rolled into one, it's called prowess. Or the so-called expertise. Are you really now confident of your quantitative skills, your talent, your knowledge in quantitative methodology? Would you be honest and proud to say that wherever you go now, therefore, you can do the SPSS and you can carry on any topic? Is that something that you already have achieved right now? Now, if I'm going to ask you, please, can you run me like a t-test, an independent samples t-test of this data that I have? And I'm actually wondering why, or I'm wondering if there's in fact that the difference or the significant difference between performance of girls and boys in my classroom. If I were a high school teacher, would you be able to present yourself as a consultant and run my data? Because that's a question, but at the same time, that's just a rhetorical question, a rhetorical one. But can you just be honest? Where are you right now? Now that you're almost done with the data analytics, the advanced data analytics. Because for sure, there's going to be this comprehensive examination, and in the few courses that you're going to have, in the next 2 semesters, there will be less of this already. To be honest, there will just be less of this. But if you are taking DRA, are you all taking DRA? Or some of you are DAs?
Not all,
Not all, no? Ilan ang DA nga dito sa batch ninyo? Gladys is DA. Who else? Erwin? Roderick. Uy, Roderick, DA ka? And
Ano daw,
Melanie?
kung walay PA daw.
Kung walay PA.
Oo,
Saman, surang-surangon
mag-DA.
na to. Surang-surangon na to. Last batch na lang mo mag-PA. Kaya kailangan po ni mo mag-PA, no? Naabtan ni mong storya na mo ganina ni. Siyempre, ikaw, public ad ba yung bachelor?
Yes, pol psycho daw kang ako ang undergrad
Pwede ra
tapos
po. Pwede ra. Masters na. So, unsay recommendation ni mo, Ronel, para kay Roderick? Depende imong future para sa kuha para kay gikan kay Ronel, ha? Kung unsay ingon ni
Magra
Ronel sa
dapat
imong
siya. Magra siya, Doc. Magra.
magra siya. Magbra ka daw, Roderick. Left the meeting itong si Melanie. Nandiyan na, bumalik na. Okay, so please...
Nag-change device lang po, sir.
Sige. Let me share my screen, and also I will be glad to press this record so that I can also use this material sometime when I'm not free and when I'm just actually will be, say, asking my students for asynchronous. I'm sure I had this in the past, but no harm siguro naman din na we will record this and we'll see how this can be used later on. So please allow me to record, and so we're just done with it, the recording. And I hope you can come in handy with you now, a pen and paper, so that you can write whatever, say, questions that you have, say, anything that bothers you from the beginning. As far as qualitative research is concerned, now is, I think, the best time for us to discuss. And this is no holds barred, no wrong or right question. Please kind of ask whatever that question is. Can you promise there is going to be questions? There are questions that will be asked later on? Or I will designate Mr. Daguhoy, Miss Maglungsod, and Olivar, at lahat na lang kayo. I will designate each one of you with one question for your classroom participation today, okay? Develop one sensible question, one critical question, all right? No one is reacting, but that means yes. Okay, let me remind you also, pala, I really meant it. You are supposed to submit your output last time, but you did not forward any output. And the link was already being shared, but I checked just now. I would like to check sana ito kung sinusundan nyo ba talaga at saka may output ba nga talaga nung last Saturday. There was none. But from my masteral, meron silang na-submit. So please, I will siguro edit itong link nito para makuha natin ang magamit at saka mabigyan pa rin kayo ng puntos. Okay?
O say link,
Right.
sir.
Link for the assignment last time. Ginawa ko siyang assignment, yung output ninyo sa Deduce.
Mao ba?
Before the class ended, I told you to submit. Who can remember?
Sir, murag
Sir,
screenshot
pero
ra to, sir.
walay link ko to, sir.
Yes,
May link
yes,
good.
Doc. Wala yung
Check mo may link.
kasama, no?
Hindi totoo ang chismis. May link.
Sir,
I-check
murag
nyo, okay?
screenshot ra to imong gi-ask, sir.
So na-submit nyo ba ang mga screenshots? Oo nga. Screenshot siya, pero dapat i-submit sa link para ma-organize Ronel kay. Kung dili siya dito, dili na ako siya ma-intimano og check. Di po na ako mag-verify. Kaya automatic class record biya nandiya sa UVE. Guys, please. Okay?
Yes po, sir. Mag-submit
Alright.
po, sir.
So, dali na. Submit na. Later na. So, let's just focus on this thing, on this one right now. So, well, all of them said, qualitative research is a situated activity that locates the observer in the world. You are the observer, and you have the wide world. The vast world is actually the world where you belong, your environment. So, it's against the environment and yourself and how you are going to feel the environment that is interpretively what is qualitative research. It consists of a set of interpretive material practices that make the world visible. Material practices are these that we really do every day. And some of these are actually motives. Some of these are actually those that we leave behind. But these are really hard evidences. But they are more of a symbolic, of symbolic value. These practices transforms the world. They turn the world into a series of representations, including field notes, interviews, conversations, photographs, recordings, etc., and including memos to the self. Memos to the self is just the guide. Okay, let's talk about these memos to the self. This memo to the self is just like when Gladys, I can really just can recall Gladys, how I supported Gladys during her data gathering. But it is also like referring to you. Even Dr. Ferrarin is also being asked of this. You have your paper as your interview guide. That's why it's called interview guide, because that is just to guide your interview. Never really to mean that that is really going to be the thing that you are going to use for your data reference, that's going to be your data set. Is that clear? Your data set is your recorded conversation. So normally this recorded conversation is not in the form of English as language. You did not use English during these particular interviews, but you use our lingua franca, our native language. So it can be Bisaya or Tagalog, whatever, what have you. Okay, so meaning to say your field note or your memo to the self can also refer to that interview guide, wherein during the interview you will note some salient points during the interview. That's why it's really kind of helpful to be really maintaining that particular piece of paper. The interview guide, myself as I practice, I do say per person that I interview, it's going to be a separate sheet of paper. I don't really consider it as a waste of paper, waste of resource. It can even really help me really remember things. I would even draw on that particular sheet of paper because that's not just really supposed to be for text. And I can also insert pictures if I had to. I can also insert secondary, say, pages, secondary data that I can actually harness or gather whilst I am doing the field work. So basically, field work here and your field notebook is really instrumental. So that's why please be transparent and be interactive and be relevant, be honest, be committed, and be accountable. Please give me a chance to also access your field notebook. Your field notebook is that notebook where I asked you from the beginning, please possess a field notebook. So I'm going to ask that as part of the part of the final requirements. What I would always say, ask my students to for this memos to the self, because memos to the self or the so-called memo can also be attached. Remember the deduce, there's that capability of deduce to say after coding your data, you can also tag along your memos. This is what we mean by memos to the self here. All right. So at this level, qualitative research involves an interpretive, naturalistic approach to the world, unlike quantitative methodology, wherein there's just the pure computation from the survey and then from tabulation. So there's less of an interaction, less of an interpretation from that moment, wherein you're just actually gathering data and tabulating and analyzing the data. There's just less of you. It's not manipulation but more of the interpretation, how this meaning of the world, of that environment you've interacted, would mean during the whole process of the analysis. Because analysis, say, how would you now compare Deduce as an analysis software compared to SPSS? Di ba si Deduce ay parang tao din? Class? Si Deduce ay parang tao. Si Deduce ay parang secretary na napagaling na secretary. Pwede ko siyang i-wrestling, pwede ko siyang pindutin, pwede ko siyang guluhin, press ko lang ang analyze at lahat ready na siya. Ready na siyang mag-record, ready na siyang naka-organize ng kanyang mga categories, ang kanyang mga notes. Pero ikaw pa rin ang nagbuot, di ba? Ikaw pa rin ang nagbuot. So ito basically ang pinaka-ibig sabihin ng qualitative research. That even during the data processing per se, you are to include some of these artifacts, some of these things that will just really drumbeat the entire data. It will beef up the so-called data. It will enrich the data so that there will be more of a justification and evidences that you are going to show. Okay, please, let us now compare, say, therefore, conducting qualitative research, comparing it with a moment, say, a legal counsel is actually defending a person, a defendant or a plaintiff, because you need attorneys for this particular, say, worst time of your lives or anybody's life. When you are actually having a legal ordeal, so meaning to say during these times, you will be needing more of this attorney. And then the work of the attorney is just really to defend you and then to present evidence or evidences one after the other. But during this whole series of data collection by the attorney and yourself being the participant or being the plaintiff or the the whatever, the one who is actually trying to protect himself against any manipulation or any violation, meaning to say all of these particular activities are just like in gathering data for qualitative research. We are gathering evidences and we are really trying to prove a point. And for us to win, kung kisa tong pinakadagan og ebidensya, will win. Pinatong pinaka katong nag-follow sa balaod o nagtarong sa mga protocol will win. And so therefore, are you also thinking that say in the legal battle, say legal court dramas, are you watching them? Myself is an avid fan of the Suits ba ang tawag doon? The Suit. Yes, I can say it's Suit. Or Suits ba? The Suit or Suit lang ba? Basta yun siya. Napakaganda na kon yun. Legal drama yun. Istorya ng isang genius na batang, hindi pa naman siya lawyer, hindi pa nakapasa ng state board ng US, pero dahil sa katalinuhan niya, naging lawyer na siya. Tapos naging primera klase, naging kuan siya, di Campanilla dayon na lawyer. Pero moto ang fraud dito sa iya, ang the whole story is actually saying, kahit pa siguro ikaw na ang pinakamatalino, pero ikaw na may bata at hindi pa nakapasa, so bawal din talaga. Pero they were able to justify. Somehow the story actually ended well. Well, that is it. I would always liken this, say, if you are, say, having a case. That's why in qualitative research, we always say, this study explores, or this study argues that, or I argue that, I make the case that. Yun yung pinaka-ibig sabihin natin why we're actually saying we argue. So meaning we are actually supporting and we actually lobby behind this basic premise that women say, for example, if we are actually theoretically driven by the so-called triple burden mixed with agarwal who is saying that all this domestic and productive roles of women, whatever these are, the values of them are always considered non-economic. Why are these non-economic? Because even itself, the economics, the field of economics will only just try to say put value and will always embrace if whatever is of value when it is countable, when it is of value. So say the activities of women, since they are not, say, when they cook eggs and fry, say, chicken for our breakfast, our dinner, and our lunch, all of this activity, even if these are difficult activities, they are not quantified in economic terms, they are not being valued. So meaning to say, it's just actually godly. It is just actually cultural. It is just expected of them, normative assumption that they are really supposed to cook food. But damn, that is an old thing, a thing will pass, and that has to stop. Even that, for one thing, many of our neighboring civilizations, not too far away, we have Japan, we have Singapore, we have Hong Kong. All of these countries are actually really saying, putting forward, please respect rights, privileges, welfare of women, because women have rights too. Women have time and efforts too. So that's why they can really define their family sizes nga ba ng family. They can always talk about it, and it's actually being supported by various laws. Now in the Philippines, I need warriors like you to actually help me rally behind this particular cause. If we are not really writing this on paper, if we are not gathering case studies, say Gladys now here is actually, well, I am really positive, Gladys, you will make a dent. You will definitely be living some kind of a grandeur status if you are just really taking this to a more scholarly level. Please, you are already situated on a good stand. Why? You are studying this group of people who are hitherto being deprived of, say, their legal rights, of their, say, significance, of their place under the sun. They cannot just be treated, right, like individuals being entitled just like us working in the government. And now get to compare yourself with them. We are actually under the same sun. We are actually demanding just the same food. But basically, in terms of work, and then the ethics that we do in terms of saying this is our work, I don't think they can actually highly negotiate and say proud and highly of themselves, that they are really proud that I am actually a decent person. Themselves are no longer decent because of this so many ramifications of that illegal work that they do. Because they have been considered illegal. The brand is illegal. And by the looks of it, the moment you are being told you are working as an illegal kasi worker ka na type, you will really do just like that. You will fulfill what the community is actually telling you. You will be working illegal. Do you get what I mean by saying so? Kasi it's just a fulfillment. It's just a tawag doon sa psychology, self-fulfilling prophecy. Guys, are you still there? It's called self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay,
Yes,
then
sir.
still there. All right. Akala ko wala akong screen. So just kindly also give feedback if my audio is not really clear. Our next slide is about qualitative research being in a natural setting. Qualitative researchers tend to collect data in the field at the site where participants experience the issue or problem under study. So basically, kung itong ganitong natural setting, ito, napakaswak nito kung ang ating study ay tinatawag nating phenomenology, pasok pa rin dito. Pero hindi doon sa cultural sharing group na sila. Kasi kung culture sharing group sila, nandun tayo sa anong tinatawag, ethnography. Kung iniisip nyo, saan therefore dito ang tinatawag na mas tedious na research na tinatawag na grounded theory. Ang grounded theory din is dapat nasa pinaka-natural na environment din ng mga participants. All of them. So, when you say case study, hermeneutic phenomenology, o kahit pa transcendental phenomenology, dalawang klase yan, field pa rin yan, tapos natural environment pa rin nila siya. Only that in phenomenology, you don't consider culture, yung sharing nila ng culture as the factor in your analysis. Kasi pag culture, papasok dun yung mga more subjective na means of analysis, and saka interpretation will also become more subjective than the so-called straightforward na pinaka-objective ng isang phenomenological na research. Kasi sa phenomenological research, gaya ng ginagawa, like most of you, will just really derive the information when they were actually told, when they are being narrated to you. Okay, class, don't close your doors. We are just actually talking of at least 5 qualitative methods here, being in the PhD na pag-aaral ninyo. And then, but you know that there are this, say, critical discourse analysis. Who knows critical discourse analysis here? Any idea about it? And there is also this content analysis. There are also this dramaturgy. Dramaturga or dramaturgy is like a type of research. Just like that, the word itself is dramaturg. Sa mga plays, sa mga films, and then the analysis of the films and the plays, and then the interaction of this, and then it will also use text as the corpus, as the body. And then it will be that the body and the text being used and the meanings being derived and also being explicitly displayed will be densely analyzed, and it can be done still with the thematic analysis. But during that time, that type of research, it will use the film, it will use the video. The critical discourse analysis will use the text collected from, say, the internet. And then critical discourse is also a means wherein you can do some literature review. And more so is the content analysis. Content analysis can also be used with an online text or with any text, any published material, but the intention is just to really condense and summarize the material and come up with pathways, come up with ramifications, come up with patterns. And that entirely is the whole notion of doing this particular type of qualitative research. But they are still qualitative research. But also pala, let me not limit the fact that content analysis can also be quantitative. Just like that, kasi pag gumagawa ka ng meta-analysis, quantitative si meta-analysis, but si meta-analysis din ay qualitative. Yun siya. So, hindi siya natin na-cover dito. There are some opportunities wherein that can be covered, especially when you will be writing your thesis, and I can readily help you, provide you with help if that is your intention. Okay, it's a good thing to actually develop your niche right now. It's the good, perhaps the best thing. And then niching you is like yourself. If you are making your own strategic plan of yourself, make sure that it's going to be something that is not really done by many people. Topic is also a lonely topic. It's a lonely table. It's not a commonplace. So that's why I'm saying Gladys is perhaps situated on a more advantageous stance compared to many of you, because many of you are interested to the already popular topics, more or less already are in actual fact already in the marketplace. Okay, but it's not also, you are not supposed to be, sorry, doing something like a topic that is common, because no common topic, if you're going to infuse it, the analysis is going to be more organized and scientific this way, this time. So you are really making a dent if that is in fact the whole intention of doing a topic that is common, and yet the interpretation and the data is going to be informed by the new theories that you now possess, that you now already know. Okay, so, but basically, qualitative research is an inductive data analysis. Why is this always inductive data analysis? Because qualitative researchers build their patterns, categories, and themes from the bottom up by organizing the data into increasingly more abstract units of information, lalo na ito sa grounded theory. I will explain later what grounded theory is, but to be honest, grounded theory is just an amazing type of a qualitative research wherein, say, Gladys, done ka na sa pag-interview mo halimbawa ng 5. Itong 5 na ito, dapat nakapag-thematic analysis na si Gladys. And then say, after the thematic analysis, meron na siyang tinatawag, kasi ang gamit ni Gladys ng first is open coding. Open coding kasi wala siyang any theoretical leaning or theoretical coding na ginamit. Ang actual coding is the theoretical coding. So, first is open coding. So, tapos na. May halimbawa siya sa out of 5, meron siyang 3 na napaka-dominante na mga themes or tinatawag na natin ngayon na axial themes. Okay, so in grounded theory, sa 3 na ito, ang sa interview next ni Gladys ay leading towards confirmation whether itong 3 na thematic or themes na na-identify will still hold water. Whether they will still agree, and then whether they will still explain the same way it was explained by the 5 of them who actually were the first participants or research participants. And then the process will just actually stick or put an element of the similarity to basket 1, basket 2, and then basket 3. And then data gathering, tapos na, say from 1 person or 3 persons, all of them collected as one. And then, so therefore, you will conduct another thematic analysis to actually collapse and merge some of these that are similar and dissimilar. And then, another way around, after finding again another 3, and if again the 3 are still the same themes that were discovered, but in this particular process, all the more that one researcher, or say Gladys, if she were to conduct grounded theory, she will really become better in terms of her understanding of the actual theme. Myself is like a victim of actual theme. Whenever I mention a theory, it is with full gusto. It is with, say, full knowledge. It is also with full of experience and metaphors that I can think of the data set. Wherein, if I say my theme 1 is, say, poverty or victimizing women, I know so many of these stories, and I know so many of these theories that I can really link to this particular, say, story or narrative, or now thematic results. And so grounded theory will end up with a powerful theory building process, just like that. So it will be several iterations. As to the number of how many iterations, it will depend on, say, clarity, because it will use theoretical sampling. I know you've been like, I've always mentioned the so-called theoretical sampling, as it is popular in my field in ethnography, but it is also more popular in the field called grounded theory. Okay, so I think I can therefore skip that discussion on grounded theory later, and therefore I can emphasize more on the types and some of the other salient points or salient discussions regarding ethnography and your favorite, as most of you are actually doing it, the so-called phenomenology. But we need to use phenomenology with caution. I really have to make sure that you're, say, because this is an approach to publishing something. This is an approach to writing in a more serious note, more serious manner this time, a research, and it's called a mini mixed method paper. You just have to really make sure that you really understand whatever nuance you are going to write about that method, why this is sequential, why is this nested mixed method type, or whatever. Okay? Okay, so we're going to leave all the other explanations there, but just quite frankly, that is what we mean by inductive data analysis. All qualitative data analysis are always inductive. That's why, as most of you are, maybe you are still wondering, but many of these papers that are qualitative papers, they will always start with their paragraphs, the first paragraph that they will ever write, and also the first sentence that they will ever write, will be this study explores. Why explores? Because qualitative study always explores something. It's a new trajectory, it's a new world, it's a new environment, new group of people. That's why they always say this study explores. Okay? So far, so good. So far, do you have question? Would you like to throw me one? Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, nothing. Tiaw mo ba ya? Asagay ko to balik. All right. So participants' meanings. Ito, in the entire qualitative research process, the researchers gives a focus on learning the meaning that the participants hold about the problem or issue. It's their story, not your story. Even if you have your story to tell, I am not aware of your story. I do not want to listen to your story. As a reader, as anybody that is collectively saying, I'm a reader, I can be a critique, I can also make a critique of your work. And then if I were just a reader, a plain reader, and if I'm going to say cite your work because I'm a researcher myself too, then meaning to say that is it. I need to make sure that the entire say research is not about you. Later on, when you're done with your research, you can actually be questioned, you can be critiqued quite really adversely, or but it can also be so abusively is really is the word. You can be abused, especially if your reader is actually trying to prove you wrong. How can someone prove you wrong? Say if you are actually just describing your own experience, and then because you're just actually enjoying the fact that no one can actually even discover, therefore whatever you are writing there can never be discovered anyway, because Gascon will never ever have any opportunity to access my say my unique personality and whatever is my thinking about whatever I believe in, whatever my advocacy and not my advocacies, whatever I think about, all of this, but rolled into one later on when you are done, when you're actually just actually presenting and waiting for something else, not already this type of research or this research that you are actually in focus now, you can just actually be found something like, okay, you're just actually what abusing this actual platform. You said this was research, but this was not yours. I mean, this research was not actually done quite comprehensively and ethically. It's just your voice. It's just your experience. You're actually publishing, and that can be so demeaning a fact or a discovery. So how can you avoid that? How can we avoid that? We always would emphasize that these conversations we are having, the results of the study, when they were actually plotted and discussed, they were actually really based on an empirical data. What is this empirical data? There were these interviews that you've conducted. Being transparent, show them the interviews. There were also these field pictures, and some maybe are videos, but less of a video, please, and less of a picture, please. There's just like if there's going to be this need later on, that's why I am also convincing you. Take some photographs, yes, please take some photographs, but it would be more of a photograph of them rather than you. But you can also keep or take photographs wherein there's them or himself, herself, and you, and plus another person who can actually say balance the whole equation so that there will be less of a suspicion that you are just actually trying to exploit the moment of a person. And I've been honest with, say, anyone, including Gladys and including Dr. Ferrarin, that when you gather data, make sure that you are actually outside of their doorsteps, outside of their house, so that there will be this safe space, and also yourself can also be safe for whatever eventuality, whatever may happen. It can really happen. Whatever you are thinking, it can actually happen. So they are called risk. So it's going to be less of a risk that you will always say experience, as they say, when you're actually in a totally bland and equal and safe space. It's going to be more of an open space outside where people can get to see you, but they don't get to hear you, something like that. So, but let's return to the participants' meanings. Research in qualitative tradition is always them. And so when you code, it's really transparent where these themes are being derived or codes are being derived. That is just one proof that qualitative research is really so. Now, say I have this honest question. Now yourself now are somehow being tooled, equipped with the skill of deducting data. That is called deducting data. That's why Yung deduce is actually from the word deduce talaga, reduction ng data. What is this to you? And how do you plan to take this particular skill to, say, conduct another project in the future, or maybe this particular candidature that you're actually aiming whilst in USEP right now? Do you understand what my question is? I would like you to say something about how can you therefore use this particular logic, this equipment, this facility, this knowledge, the skill. Now that you now would be able to really handle data, I think you now know what data is in qualitative tradition. Data here is something that is coming from the interview. These are actually, well, we are not really safe. Again, it's caveat on our part. To most of us, ethnographic researchers, we don't always convert our text into, say, English text. No, we can still use our lingua franca if we need to. But then again, when we report to the world, say, for easier way around, when we are actually requiring, say, when we are required or requiring ourselves to get published, it would be almost like next to our door, next to the comforts or the requirements of these particular companies who will be getting our articles for publication. It would be easier way around if we are actually have translated our material in English. Do you know what I mean? Now, please, how would you now therefore describe your future, say, research that will actually incur or will actually use qualitative research? Anybody? Anybody? Any not body? Okay, Lovejoy.
Hi, Doc. Good
Lovejoy.
afternoon, Doc.
I'm not used to
Actually,
calling you Lovejoy. Okay,
LJ, Doc.
sige po, Doki.
Actually, Doc, my primary vision really is to explore parang other modes of researches, Doc, in medical school as well as in our residency training. Since in medicine, most of our research are quantitative. So now I have realized na there's a really huge parang ano ba, Doc, parang so many other possible researches that we can do in terms of qualitative na research.
Napakalaki ng potential ng quality, Doc, sa field mo na medical. Like patients palang
Yes,
daan, pag-interview palang daan, whether they like the services, whether they abhor you, and what makes them abhor you. All of this, say, even the terminal ones, may mga terminal cancer, whatever, kung kahit pa sa mga daily lang siguro na experiences, napakagaling. Lalo na, Doc, kung mixed method. Napaka-popular ng mixed method. Lalo na si Creswell. Si Creswell ay napaka-friend siya or best friend siya ng mga medical mixed methodologists. Mixed methodologists na ang tawag talaga nila sa ilang mga sarili. Okay. So, I will send you a link. May nasend ako na link doon sa mga previous ko na mga students from Davao Medical School Foundation din na mixed method. Isa siyang school talaga. It's linked to the UCLA, University of Chicago, Los Angeles, Doki. So magpundo ka dito, and then there you can maybe develop, perhaps collapse all of their, say, ideas and use them for your advantage for this particular publication. And how about if I tell you, please target this publication. We are not targeting publication only for compliance. Napakadami, at saka surprisingly, ako'y part ng committee kasi ng publication. Tapos bago kayo makagraduate, kami yung nagka-credit ng publication ninyo. Tapos, sad to say, meron akong advice ko pa talaga, gustong mang 1, 2, 3, sa masters naman ito na istorya. Pero pag publish ng kanyang article, kung i-check kung predatory ba, Ronel, di ba? Ang check na predatory, kaya dapat na i-review process. Ronel,
Yes po, sir.
Oo,
Yes
unya
po, sir.
dayon. So check siya na siya review process. Ang yung review process, it took him, let's say, 1 month. Nagbayad siya, katakot-takot na amount, mga 12,000. Pero ang na-publish, Ronel, walay editing, dili na ako papel, wala gud siya naagi ka ng any vetting or any moment kung asa dapit siya gikan sa iyang mga subject ba. Unya ang iyang gi-publish kay walay data. So walay interpretation. So therefore ang gibuhat niya, ni submit na siya abstract, niya gibutangan lang gamay kay intro nga kataw-anan, Nagbutang na siya isa ka table nga wa jay kangho o generalization or conclusion nga wa gyud ayo. Unya gibutang dito University of Southeastern Philippines na ang question, ang dilemma dito, ethical dilemma, aproban ba nako? So karon pod kay panahon pa man nga burag mas luag-luag pa man ato mga panahon karon, pwede man luagan ang bakos para lang mo graduate ang estudyante. Total kisa man po yung nag-design ani, so burag panablahay ta. So niingon ko sa committee, okay, dili ko magawd-hawd, isipon na kung dili ko gaskon o basta wa ko iniskwelahan, pag-graduate ng bataan na kay burag reflection na siya sa unsang klase ta. Muya kung ingon sila, so nangasuko sila, pero sa nangasuko, ano nga tawa? Pero time will come, kaya nabisitahan na tag COPC, o kani, panahon na po yun nga mo na ako mismo kamo sa inyo, pero tong luha, pero dapat di mo madlok. Di man yata po dapat ikahadlok na, kay but pasabot ana, kitay Ronel, ikaw, gusto ka mo publish, na gusto ka nga, ang imong publishan is sikat o sigurado ka nga skopo, so kabalo ka asa ka mangita. Then kung kinsa man ang nagduda pa nga burag di ka makakita dito sa imong sarili too soon enough, kay mo na karon dapat di ba mo nag-publish, karon mo dapat nangita og opportunity nga nag-publish while you are waiting for the completion of everything. Kasi that perhaps is the most difficult thing to do. Or perhaps it can be easy also, or easiest for some of you. But let us just be honest. Quality is really of essence here. And also you are actually putting integrity on the line. And myself too has been like included in some of these opportunities. If you notice, if you Google me, like 3 or 5 of these articles are not in my intention that I will be part of their names. Okay, can we talk about this? If you would like me to be part of your, say, publication, I always will tell you, please, it's fine to include me as the second author, but you will be the main author. But please, let us work things out. Let's work this together. Do not leave me, I will not leave you. So this paper that we are going to write or do during this time, this is writing in tandem, right? This is basically writing in tandem. And I am actually treating all of you, each one of you, as like research staff or research associate, or actually designed or actually dictated to some extent and helped and ushered and coached to actually gather and analyze data and write later on. That is the very purpose why we are here. So that's why I am the most notable person to be your second author. Here is another dilemma. May nag-submit ba naman, Ronel, na tatlo sila? Tatlo sila ka-author, tatlo ka bilog. Pwede ba dahil tatlo ka bilog sa isa ka papel? Kung siya gibuhat sa tuwa. Burag nalay adversary nga gibutang na lang yun sila dito to be part of the authorship. Moto niingon po ko nga tikas man eh. Kaya una, naturalmente, pag-submit pa lang ninyo og inyong concept paper, na mo ideya of an independent research, right? Unya, nga nang nahimo mga tulo ka author, tulo ka book, similar mga concept. Unya, siguraduhon ninyo nga later on sa inyong dissertation project, tulo pod kaparihang thesis halos ang makita dapat sa ending. Di ba? Kaya para magiging accountable at saka honest ka sa imong effort nga tulo mo nag-author, mao na siya ang ethical dilemma diya. So, unsa ang pinaka-safe? Mag-solo ka? Or kung naman mo idungag ng author, parehaan ako, madungag ako ang authorship, kaya ako apod i-welcome ta mo sa akong mga ginapublishan na pod nga high-rank journals. Balag mga matay ta but we'll die together. Mo po na ako ang promise po sa akong sarili because I will not really put my name on the line. And whatever that means, but that only means that I have integrity to maintain. And I know you have integrity too. I would really rather just really treat you, each one of you, you will be targeting yourselves with, say, not really the higher rank ones, I mean journals, but you would always aspire for something like quality. Aren't you? Let me be honest with this question. Aren't you not targeting that particular type of publication firm? So that means you are? So, si Gladys na nag-thumbs up na lang. Okay, so I hope you got my point. I hope you got me there. I really mean it. I mean, I can be misunderstood, but I don't think this time that is subject for misunderstanding. That was just actually clearly stated, and I really wanted it like emphasize that if there's going to be this academic integrity, that is about academic integrity, being alone and being with just a few individuals, but it has to be rather quality and really ideal individual that you will actually write with. I can be somehow part of it, being the co-writer, but you can also say, ask my permission, sir, can I just actually be alone? I found this opportunity to publish. But before you do that, seek my approval. If you still wanted me to read your paper, to comment on your paper, and then but with the condition that that will just actually for help, because you need help, I will also do that. And then with or without my name, so we can still do that because I am a teacher. All right. So let me go back to my PowerPoint slide. So we're done with the participant observation, and hopefully we're also done with the emergent design. But what is meant by emergent design? Plain and simple, all your qualitative research projects, that's why all of them enrolled under me in qualitative research, they are actually done when they're done saying to me or stating to me the fact that they would like to do research with the street children, and what they wanted to see is whether the street children are actually doing fine. And so they will use in the analysis as lens, the theoretical lens that they will use is just the so-called deprivation trap. So they will describe the deprivation trap experience of each of the street children or street child that they get to interview. Okay, that's just the idea. And I would be happiest just to actually deploy them with just the title and the objectives, few objectives, and that's done. Okay, why the hell is that a particular characteristic of qualitative research? Because qualitative research, we just need to say, okay, I wanted to study this, but I really don't know. Say during the actual na mismong scenario or the actual data gathering, if this will still be the same, my suspicion will still be the same, my assumption would still be the same, or a hypothesis. You can also develop hypothesis or assumption nga, yun nga. If you will still be able to say that these street children are actually their experiences can be described using Chambers deprivation trap lens. Okay, but if otherwise, then therefore, yun yung characteristic ng isang qualitative research. You can actually deploy yourself, try to have a test of the water, and then be able to return to your table and draft something else like a plan that will somehow swak doon sa actual na mga characteristics na nandun mismo sa environment. And yun ang ibig sabihin ng emergent design. If I may share my experience, once I decided I will do qualitative or mixed method research, and then my supervisor, Janet McIntyre, wanted me to first gather qualitative data. And so she just actually deployed me. When I'm done with my, say, ethics approval, and ethics approval was a lengthy one, it was just actually signing off the forms and making the forms just like the forms you've seen, the CHR forms. You're familiar with the CHR forms, right? So that's what I did, and I explained where I'm going to gather the data. But basically, all of those discussions there, how will I protect the data? How will I store the data? And how many years should the data be stored? And all of this, and where will the data be transferred? Say for safekeeping, additional safekeeping strategy. All of these are part of that ethics approval. And there's also ethics approval also in Mindanao or in Davao City, but not in USEP as for now. And then during also that time, it was with the condition, you just go to the field, you just conduct your conversations there, and then, but there's no specific data, what you're going to consider as data. You just immerse and then sink and then swim and then sink and swim. It means to say that is just the design that is emergent. The final design of my study was decided at the middle of the data gathering, wherein I already have a lot of data, and then therefore, to gather more data, I need to really situate myself finally. So I found myself better situated in the so-called ethnographic because I was qualified, say, counting the years I've gathered data, and my candidature was actually for 4 years. So in these 4 years, walang coursework yan, walang subject yan. First year pa lang, first month pa lang, first day pa lang, automatic na. Inapprovean na lang ang title on the second month, approved na ang ethics on the third month, data gathering na, bumalik ako ng Pilipinas, and then gathered data here for say 3 straight months, balik ng Australia, then after a while, after 6 months or 1 year, balik na naman ng Pilipinas to gather data, another 2 months, balik Australia, for 3 times, ganun na klaseng type ng data gathering until I'm done. So, ibig sabihin nun, yun yung emergent design. Okay, so, ibig sabihin, question ko ngayon, Ronel, anong practice natin ng mga qualitative research, na pure qualitative research? Ano, at saka bakit tayo mali? when we are actually designing qualitative research proposals?
Usually sir, sa akong na-encounter sir, kay if usually gid sir in region
Okay, okay.
11 is kanang kuan sir, if they are conducting phenomenological inquiry, because the practice ba kay if the questions are based on experiences, they will automatically conclude that the paper is phenomenological. However, I believe, and based on the trainings that I have in UP, sir, when we talk about phenomenological inquiry, the first assumption that you need to ensure is that you have established the data saturation. That's why the phenomenological inquiry, you should base it with a template that is truly an analysis about phenomenology. Nahitabo man gud sir diri sa ubang school ba kung na-experience. Nangutana lang og experience, nangutana og challenge, coping, tapos insight. Pero na dayon unya wa gay na ensure ang data saturation, which I believe naga-violate siya sa basic
Violation, good.
requirements sa phenomenological inquiry. Kana sir.
And then also let me add, along that line, ang pinaka-common kasi na pag sinasabing qualitative research, we use texts or we use conversations or interviews as means to gather data. Yun yung pinaka-common. Common ito sa lahat ng klaseng method na quali na merong interview. Another thing na common is we actually refer to experiences. Tapos, lagi nating iniisip, along that line na sinasabi mo, Ronel, na pag live experiences of nurses in the pedia ward, so ibig sabihin yan, live experiences, kasi may live experiences, phenomenological research dayon, which is wrong. Kasi all of this that we derive as like in the conversation, experiences man ito, challenges nila, experiences man yan. All of these stories, these things that we ask, never ever that in qualitative research, say in social science na critical theory research, social science critical theory research, nga atong pangutanon is about happiness, about satisfaction. Dilita squared diha, dilita fit diha kanay nanang ang mga study, but we can. Sa mga linguistics pwede, if they analyze talk, if they analyze dances, if they analyze songs, in a rather more trivial and also enjoyable manner. Kasi that is how they are going to derive the meaning of dances and the songs that they play or sing. Then also there will be some remarkable, of course, rendition of the song and the dance or execution of the dance. And it will then therefore require a more ecstatic and enjoyable na atmosphere. But in our case, social science tayo, sorry to tell you, ours is really like in a problematic stance. We always would question, we always would critique the state of matters or things, say in the government or whether in the environment or whether, say, whatever, what have we? Where are we actually? Wherever we belong, we always would ask question if how can we therefore improve our systems. Yun tayo itong mga nega na tao. So dahil doon sa critical theory yan, critical na ginagamit natin sa social science. Okay, but I think to sum it up, ang mali din talaga na ako mismo is a violator is dapat kung qualitative research, patindugon lang na ako si candidate, kunya, muyaw-yaw siya, why she feels that way, he feels that way, and why he wanted to, say, propose a research that is going to underscore, say, the nuance of how people, say, children, young people are suffering from human trafficking and where these are and what these are, say in terms of examples and etc. But later on, the student or the candidate will just really purely express, I am still limited in terms of my knowledge, therefore I will commit to read these books. And I am also limited in terms of my experience to say, sorry for my ignorance, and therefore I will really direct myself into the field to really say, I will immerse with the lived experiences, with the narratives, with the culture, with the food, of this type of people who are called my research participants. I think in that particular manner, kung sasabihin niya lang intention niya, may goal, parang may objective siya, tapos may mga target siya, yun na yun. Kasi kung ipapresent sa kanya pa yung iba pang mga nuances, so ibig sabihin, ikukulong natin siya doon sa mga questions na sabi nga ni Ronel ay challenges lang, tapos coping mechanism. Mali din kasi yung research na meron kang challenges, tapos ang coping mechanism, agad-agad malalaman mo din ang coping mechanism. Coping mechanism should be another study. It should be like a dissertation project. Another is the challenges. So therefore, just cover the challenges. Yung mga ganyan, meron din yan sa action research, challenges, and then solutions. Propose solutions. At least ang end ng research mo is meron siyang mga sets of solutions. But the set of solutions should not be from individuals you've interviewed. Kasi ang solution naman ay base sa kung anong merong resources meron tayo as a community. Hindi mo pwedeng hingan ng resources o hindi mo pwedeng hingan ng proposed solution si may problema ng ganito kung alam niya mismo na ang hirap-hirap ng anong buhay niya, hanapan mo pa siya ng solusyon. Kasi gusto niyo mo siya exploit niya mismo or iyang ipadayag yun sa imo ang iyang pagka-NPA na noon, I mean pagka-outrageous na, pagka-radical niya. Maybe you are really just trying hard to elicit from him or her that radical ideas that he actually is just actually trying to, abhor saying or not really intending to say. Yes, Doc, ano yung sabi mo, Doc? If in case I had follow-up questions but the audio recording was already turned off, can I still include their answers in my data? Yes. Yes. Yes is the answer. Part yan ng participant observation, Doki. Remember, may participant observation
okay. Thank you
tayo?
for the clarification, Doc.
Oo. So, doon nyo ipasok. Ipasok nyo din siya as memo. Ipasok nyo siya as memo. Hindi yung mugna-mugna. So, kaya tayo ito napaka-dynamic na data gatherer. Napaka-dynamic na data gatherer. And I really appreciated itong, yun nga, gawa mo at saka gawa ng isa pa, si Gladys, the manner of interview, which myself is like guiding her, hinahinay lang. Kasi remember, you are interviewing the hormonal males in our community. At saka iba din ito. Iba itong atake din ito na ganito. Iba din ang magiging impression nito sa part ng mga na-interview. Whether you say you are safe, the more you think you are safe, the more that you need to question whether in fact the one that you did is actually safe. Do you know what I mean? It's also theoretical. The more you say that you are, the more that you are not. The more that you say that you are not, the more that you are. Psychological yan, mirroring yan. Alright, so let's move on. And I hope you got the message, emergent design. With just the few things in mind, pero ito din. Ang si Quali din, halimbawa, bakit happy si Quali na i-deploy siya, tapos bakit din pwedeng ipagamit talaga yung emergent design. Alam na alam din kasi natin, or ako halimbawa, for example, galing kayo sa klasiko, tapos lalo na sa undergrad. Ang undergrad kasi ng public ad dito sa Mintal, ako nagtutulong ng Quali. Pero nagtudlo ko Quali sa ilang, about na bitaw sila mag-graduate, Ronel. So kung mag-graduate na sila, anad na sila sa research. Kunya, medyo ako na lang buhaton din is ako na lang tagod-tagoron ilang mga tikod, mo din inyo nibalaan ha. Sobra pug kamo. Mo din inyo nibalaan ha, pero dapat makabalo pod mo ani. So kabalo na sila mo data gather. Pero kabalo na pod sila sa mga basic theories. Kaya mas hawd maning mga undergrad sa theories, kaya memorize mo no, ipamukmo mo na literally ipamukmo na kung naong nila dito sa theory. Di mo ka memorize aw buragwa mo'y ayo. Pero ginana nga ako ang treatment, labi na ako undergrad. Kaya na nakakatrot ang training sa undergrad eh. And so meaning na sila governance, development theories, and then they're just actually using this as lens. So can you think of lens or lenses, plural, and then launch a study? And then their narrative, their say exposition, their even I would call it declamation or oration will be endless. It will just become endless because they will keep on and on. And they are so excited to use the so-called template, the table of theory, and then they will automatically write suspicion, hypothetical data on the end column, pinakalas na column ng tinatawag na table of theory. And that's how I remarkably would judge student in terms of readiness nila to actually really do the so-called data gathering. Common kaayo na sa senior high school, sir, luwi kayo ang quali study. Dapat manggod, walay quali study pa sa senior high school. Dili pa na siya pwedeng makuhan. Kaya ano, nabaday theory dito, maluwi mo. Di ba? Nabago dito yung human development theory. Kaluwi. So may pwedeng buhatag quality dito. Siguro kato lang, mga thematic analysis lang, basic lang. Pero dili good. Dapat nasa sa undergrad. Diya lang at least mag-start. Isa po yung nag-design anak, kay ngano, nang enroll og Yusef, naka-enroll og Quali, pagbalik dito, gipang design, gipang litok. Medyo mali. Isa'y mali ato, Yusef. Tibaghak. Kauwaw. Okay, let's move. I mean, we know what these flaws are, but to some, these are also advantages. They take advantage of this. They are also doing so di yun niya damay-damay ng Yusef oh. Damay Yusef uy. Mutuo sa dili. Daghang graduate sa Yusef nga medyo half baked or white elephants. Napagyapo yung mga inana. And then when they're actually there now, taking leadership roles or are in the leadership roles, they're just actually really trying to make their dents in that particular way. They're creating some shifts in the discourse and in the practices. But basically, baka may mga rason din mga taong ito. Pero I never can imagine, say, in the senior high school, if these students I've trained in the 4th year level ng BPA or public administration were trained during their senior high school, the hell, they are not still equipped. I was like trivial whenever I deal with them. There is this tawag nito pre-test na ginagawa sa kanila. Hindi man nila masagot ang mga pre-test. Even the sampling techniques to describe and the type of methods being used, say for these particular instances, if I would describe, they cannot. So ano tinuturo nila? Hindi ko na alam. So let's now proceed. So emergent design and then interpretive inquiry. Napakasimple ito interpretive inquiry. What we see, what we hear, and we understand all of this will markedly form part of our analysis. And that is the necessary inquiry process that we do whenever we are doing qualitative inquiry. The researcher's interpretations cannot be separated from their own background, history, context, and prior understanding. Pero ito din is dapat meron itong part. Kung full thesis na qualitative research ka, merong self-reflexivity ako na pinapadagdag lagi sa lahat ng mga thesis writer at saka naging elemental part na ito ng mga qualitative research ng USEP. Kahit pa siya hindi siya approve pa muna sa existing system, yun na nga, kasi dahil pati pa forma, unlike UP, hindi na pinapakialaman ang mga professor or mga writers kung anong forma na i-follow, kung ito'y quali or quanti na study. Dito sa USEP, mahihirapan tayo kasi we already have one standardized format. Pero I really insisted that there should be a separate, say, discussion for validity of data, reliability and validity of data, and also the so-called self-reflexivity. The self-reflexivity, you will explain what is your role in the study. Why the hell you're studying this particular topic or problem? So you will be saying there that I am, in fact, myself, blah, blah, blah. And I've been, say, since childhood, I've been, say, an avid listener to any topics related to this. And during my undergrad, I've experienced, and during my practicum, I experienced it, and etc. All of this you need to explain why the topic or problem or the participant group is familiar to you. So that is part of this because you need to really put brackets over and above your knowledge of the subject matter or the problem and the knowledge of your participants of the study. Never ever that you will actually overwhelm. Yun yung sabi ko kanina. If you're overwhelming the whole interpretive process doon sa ginagawa mong papel, time will come, possibility is likely, very highly likely na maka-meet ka ng somebody familiar sa imuha and then, ano nangyari sa akin? Very familiar sa imuha and then will prove yun, oy, kaning gisulat ni Ronel is about lang guni siyang kinabuhi, siya good ni. Kaniyang gingon interpretation diri o kaniyang case study diri siya good ni. So unsa man ni mali ni. So maulawan ta ko inatuon nato ang kredibilidad bilang mga profesional, di ba? So, but you need to be honest. That's why the talent here, the skill, somebody who is going to really advise you, guide you in the interpretative process. Ang interpretative kasi is, ano bang kaibahan? Spelling. Pero sa qualitative research, we really say it's the interpretive inquiry. Hindi siya interpretative inquiry, but some books are also saying interpretative. ang term nila, pero we'll just use the interpretive. And this, they would refer to the interpretations of the study. So the interpretation here should be based on the data, what you see, what you hear, what you understand, less of yourself. But less of yourself nga ba? So therefore, you need to explain. Yun yung reflexivity mo, that particular part. And so, but even in your paper that you're going to do, even without that part called self-reflexivity, you need to really disclose yourself. What is your role in the study? Just add a little paragraph talking about yourself and the whole experience and why the topic is familiar to you. With the researchers, the participants and the researchers will all be making an interpretation. We can see how multiple views of the problem definitely can emerge. So therefore, the participant here of the study, the research participants and yourself are all called co-participants, co-research participants, okay? So meaning hindi ka tatawagin na respondents. Okay, but since mixed method ito, anong tawag na therefore? Trivia ba yun? Kung mixed method na, may quanti yun, may quali. So ano ibig sabihin doon? Ano nang tawag ng final mo na mga grupo na tao? Will they be called research participants? Will they be called respondents? Anyone? And justify. I would like to call Ray. Ray, can you contribute? Say in your project, mixed method, anong tawag niyo sa kanila? At saka i-justify mo lang, ano, bakit yun ang tawag na? Will they be called respondents or research participants sa mixed method?
Mixed methods po, Doc.
Sa mixed method, oo.
I think the appropriate term for the subjects to be called is participants po, because when
Very
you
good.
conduct the process in mixed methods, this is a dialogue or discussion between the researcher and the participants, and so there is a interactive communication channels between the groups po.
Yes. And also, you also need to communicate nga itong result ng quantitative survey ninyo eh. Yun eh. Yun yung kaibahan talaga ng any form of research. You need to be responsible enough to also present to them whatever, if it's going to be trivia or if it's going to be less, like more of a problem, you present this to them after the survey. You present this to them so that they can validate more or less, so that they will see in numbers the characteristics of their, say, experiences, yung sabi kanina natin ni Ronel. Rather in number, but not just in terms of text. Because text, we're just able to summarize, say, in thematic analysis, conducting content or thematic analysis. So we were able to summarize with the huge conversations we had from a series of persons. Therefore, ito yung summary. Pero rich at saka dense ito, condense ito masyado na summary. And then with the summary, you're able to develop the survey tool. And then you just needed their agreement. But you need to like find another group of people to pilot this survey, so that more or less, just like grounded theory, you can really test whether the data fits with the instrument. Itong fitness ng data and the instrument should be in the first place, again, should be in the first place. Before you launch, say, a factor analysis study or a relationship study or a significant difference study, you needed to really establish that there is, in fact, this significant difference if that is going to be a topic. Because, say, the difference really of the US or Philippine curriculum and from that of, say, UK, Australian, and Indian curriculum, and most of the Southeast Asian neighbors, we have Hong Kong and Singapore, they will really tell their students, their candidates, okay, you go on a study, and if you are really trying to prove that there's significant difference between drug A and drug B, then therefore that difference should really be significant. If it turned out that there's no significant difference between drug A and drug B, you go back to high school. I mean, that's just a joke. You go back because you're a failure. You go back to your country if you're a scholar. You're not making any dent, because in the first place, the reason behind you're considered a PhD candidate, there is this presupposition or theoretical leanings that you are actually, in handy already. You are just actually using this to test the waters. You're just actually scouting the references. That's why you will really dig to the bottoms, to the dungeons of the literature, so that you will float. And then when you float, you are already equipped with this basic knowledges, let me be plural, so that you can then therefore position your study. This drug A is really different from drug B. Drug A, therefore, if there's going to be the significant difference, then drug A will always turn out to be effective. And then, but remember, when it talks about drugs just like that, when it talks about the same health na science, ano ang probability na acceptable sa inyo, Doki? Is it 0.5 or 0.00.1? Nawala si Doki. Who knows? Anong probability ang ginagamit sa kanila? Let's talk about the 0.05, 0.01.
Doc, sorry, mali ang napindot ko na ano, ang
Okay,
off
okay.
na pindot ko. 0.05 sa amin, Doc.
Ay, Doki, mali yan. 0.05, social research yan.
Ay, sorry.
Sino pa mga ibang researcher? Ray, contribute kayo. Drug study, food study, something like that. May implication ng food security at saka health. Kaya na-develop yung SPSS na yan dahil dyan una mismo sa research nila mismo na clinical, mga clinical trials. Ang akseptado lang sa kanila is 0.00 or 0.01. 99% dapat ang probability nila. Si Gladys pala meron na nalagay at saka meron na din si Kwan. Okay. Sorry, hindi ako nagbasa. Okay, so yun. 4.00. Social science ang 0.05. 95% sure ta. Alright, so okay. Doki, hindi totoo yung 0.05 ha, dalhin mo ang 0.01. Pero pag hindi siya clinical research, hindi siya itong testing na live ang medyo nakakuan, ang nasa linya, so meaning you can use 0.05. Pero pag live na gani, life threatening siya, risky siya, nandun talaga yan lagi sa 0.01 na probability. Accepted yan pag within that particular probability value. Alright, so I will run fast. This one I'm going to make you read, but that is just easy. And even the history I will not deal, but nevertheless I will not include in the exam any of this history. Not even the names, the figures, but it really pays to say. Teach the senior high school, Ronel. Can you give this to the senior high school teacher, my material? Kasi ito lang sila dapat magaling dito, oh, dyan. Isali yan.
Yes, sir. I will give it to my colleagues, sir. Former colleagues. So,
Joke lang
thank
yan.
you.
Joke lang na. Oh, ito. Joke lang na. Basta di po nila ni ma-handle with care. Diba? Enlightenment, yan. Ayoko yan. Undergrad ko tinuturo yan. Kahit pa sa undergrad, Diyos ko Lord, kayo na bahala dyan. Not even the spelling, I will not care. Okay, so, ito din, alam niyo na ito eh. So, wag na yan. Ito din, alam niyo na ito. Wag na yan. So, ito tayo. Ethnography, case studies, narrative research, phenomenology, grounded theory. Okay, that's a promise, but never really to mean that we are going to accomplish. Knowing the fact that I am really a hard talker, and medyo nadidelay lagi ating mga discussion. But here is ethnography. Well, they say ethnography is the works of the anthropologists. Can you get it? Anybody doing ethnographic studies are called anthropologists. Why are they called, myself including, why am I now called a social anthropologist? What's the difference? So we will actually discover why ethnography is developing the so-called anthropologists. Saglit lang. Let me go on. Kailangan ko i-charge ang laptop. May mga questions na ba? Napag-contribute na si Vice President Ronel, so hindi ko na i-disturb. At tapos si Ray, at tapos si Doktora. So ibig sabihin, pwede na lang nating gawing biktima nito ngayon ay sila John, si Roderick, at saka si Gladys the Boxer. Gladys and Roderick. Okay. Yun.
Yes, sir. Tama
Yeah.
na, sir.
Okay. Bakit ang tama? Anong tama? Oo nga, tama yun. So unlike grounded theory, ethnography studies the participants from the same place or interacting or on so frequent a basis that they develop shared patterns of behavior, beliefs, and language. By the very fact ethnographic studies are done, they are done on certain topics that you are not really familiar with. You are totally oblivious over a topic, so you will do some ethnographic So what can be an oblivious topic even now we are existing in our community and in our, say, Philippine setting or Philippine community? What can perhaps be a new to us, a new topic or a new problem that we can actually study? And whether or not we can be entitled to study that. Okay, so maybe later we will discuss how can that be studied. Say, because we still have a deep or a gaping gap. Ito, may gap pa rin ang ating understanding on poverty. So therefore, you need to really make sure that you can really underscore more emphasis, more study, more in-depth study can be done on how really deep is the problem confronted by, say, prostitutes, or how deep really is the problem confronted by, say, in the case of Gladys now, this can be promoted to an ethnographic study. The cases of those that are called, who are called, hindi sila habal-habal driver, ano tawag sa kanila, angkas drivers. And in a more theoretical sense, meron ng theoretical term si Gladys dyan. Ano nga yun? Outsource?
Crowdsourcer. Crowdsource.
O
Crowdsource.
crowdsource riders. No? Crowdsource riders. So yun. So ang term na yan, para maintindihan itong mga experiences nito, ng mga drivers na ito, so gagawa si Gladys ng parang grounded, not grounded theory, ethnographic na study. So ibig sabihin lang nito ng kung ethnographic study ka, culture nila mismo ang ginay-studyhan diya. Pero kani karon ang question, kung si Gladys babae unya kaning iyang mga gipang interview mostly lalaki, so unsa dapat dito ang iyang explanation para maduol siya dito gyud mismo sa cultural nga study nga ethnographic ang gamito niya nga approach. Ang ethnography pod is siyempre ang question diri permanente gender, kung nabay mga gender inequality nga mga issues diri, which for me really is naa. Nakita ni Gladys ang katuday niya nga preso kay babae to. Di ba? Kay basin to ang treatment pod ato tumboy ba Gladys, lesbian ang imong no?
Opo.
So kana pwede na siyang studyhan sa case study gamiton og critical theory, and also privileges, rights, entitlement. Kanang mga inana, and of course including sustainability, climate change, and all of this, environmentalism, ecologism, everything. All of this will still have repercussion, climate change particularly. Why climate change? Kasi itong outsource, crowdsource, itong ganitong crowdsourcing as a means, as a global phenomenon, is actually trying to really hurt the planet, is really trying to victimize the poorest of the poor. You go to India, there is always this story, say, you can search Vandana Shiva, and why Vandana Shiva is considered to be the mother of all mothers in India. She is still alive, and she's really arguing for the planet and how to really mother the planet. And she's the one who is actually saying there is no alternative to science. Yang Tina approach na yan ng ating development all over the world, that there is no alternative to science, is actually annihilating our planet. There's no alternative to science because just like that, China has really bombarded us with new technologies, one technology after the other, or even at the same time, a technology can be developed and become popular all over the world. This popularity of the technology is also otherwise known as market or capitalism. So in the context of that, when we actually put forward capitalism or business as usual, meaning to say everything that we do, like a developed technology, will always be priced. It always comes with the condition there's going to be this particular price that you have to pay. And so, because of the development of the technology, what do they wanted really to end up with? They wanted to end up with profit. And then they wanted to end up with profit that is really gargantuan, humongous enough that it's going to be global by scale. Okay, let's talk about humongous profit. And it's really called profiteering. And under Marxist movement, it's by the works of it evil. And why is it evil? Because it really is disgracing the planet. It is dilapidating every fabric, social fabric, including political and economic fabric. There is no unique Filipino way to really protect our Filipino as a culture, as a country. Therefore, now, gone are the days when there's just this cuisine or luto na to, when there's just going to be this Filipino cuisine. What do we have now? We still get raw materials from India. We still get raw materials from Korea. And under this particular spirit of the free flow of goods and services by the WTO, the World Trade Organization, meaning to say the world is borderless, yes. And if you're enjoying, you need to be careful according to Vandana Shiva, because this is really the sign that we are really going to end the world by the so-called etong ato sa atong ginabuhat nato karon, kani mismong man-made nato nga disaster, we will really end the world. Di ba with this, the crowdsourcing, it comes with the condition, the supply chain really is so busy. It's so busy. You have to purchase, and then at one press, then the Shopee will deliver or the Lazada will deliver to you instantaneously. Say, you just have to wait 1 week, 2 weeks, or several days. What this is really something that will really hurt the planet. Is hurting the planet. Okay, so let me, that is the deeper way to dig deeper and to also frame more more philosophically this particular problem called crowdsourcing or international flow of goods and services. And itong ganitong artifact na nakikita na being studied now, artifact lang ito, senyales lang ito, symbol lang ito. At saka napakaganda siyang studyhan or gawin siyang investigation, gawin siyang quali, kasi doon tayo magsubay dito sa pinaka-fabric sa istorya. Which ang istorya is medyo may mga tigmo pa lang, wala pa yun siya na-establish pa. So, mauto siya. Okay? And an ethnography focuses on the entire cultural group. So, culture sharing group dapat talaga ang ethnography. Granted, sometimes this cultural group may be small, few teachers, few social workers, but it also can be as large as the whole school or the entire community. Okay, just like the story of The Thick Narratives by Clifford Geertz na entire Bali ang kanyang study. Ethnography pala, kung anong namug ng ethnography, nagsugod ni siya sa tao nga ginatawag ng Clifford Geertz. Clifford Geertz. He's not the father of ethnography, but later you will see who are the father of ethnographic studies. And ethnography describes and interprets the shared and learned patterns of values, behaviors, beliefs, and language of a culture sharing group. But that is just according to Harris in 1968. But I need to also emphasize here that ethnography describes and interprets the shared and learned patterns of, say, abuses, of poverty, of etc. All these problems we are now actually studying, because these are very light-headed. See, these are all light-headed. These are light charged, as if nothing is really questionable in the world. But that is just according to the lens of Harris. Harris is a white man. Okay, but I'm not white. I'm a colored person, meaning I could have a different take on that particular nuance or meaning of ethnography. And as a process, ethnography involves extended observations of the group, most often through participant observation. How is this participant observation done? Just like what I've advised Dr. Ferraren earlier, that say during the course of interview, and then after one spot one interview was done, so no more recording, and then but she went on, she still interviewed, but what's not recorded, what is that now therefore as a data? And then that can be charged as a participant observation data. But it's still a conversation data, only that it's not recorded. So she can attach that as memo that will actually link to that particular data set. Or therefore, perhaps you can type in, encode that for decoding or for coding that particular information. But you just have to capture it as a participant observation, because all this are all data, including things that you are seeing and understanding or hearing or listening. Then therefore, these are still data in which the researcher is immersed in the day-to-day lives of the people. Okay, day-to-day lives of the people is still the basic characteristic of the so-called ethnography. Okay, but now let's question what is therefore phenomenology. Later on, phenomenology will tell you that it's not really necessary that the interaction or the immersion is day-to-day. You just have to go there because you just have to go there to gather data, and it's an objective rather than subjective type of data gathering. Ethnography is also both. It is subjective and it is objective. Subjective when you are actually asking for feelings and there are alternatives to what you are seeing. You can dig deeper. But objective, unlike phenomenology, si ethnography kasi has the tendency to be more of subjective. Kasi kung objective itong ethnography, kung ano yung nakikita, yun lang din ang kanyang i-question. Si ethnography kasi is meron din siyang pang may touch, may tactile siya na component. Meron ito siyang living, eating, and also bathing with the people, not really inside the same facility, of course. That is not what is I am meaning, but of course you can actually take these particular activities on a day-to-day experience, how they do, say if that is really part of your observation or part of your project. Then next is ethnographers study the meaning of behavior, the language, and the interaction among members of the culture sharing group. So basically here, please take note, language. Language is really cultural. If you are not cognizant or knowledgeable, skillful, and will be having difficulties absorbing knowledge because the language, the channel of communication is not the language that you are more familiar with, you would always have a problem because ethnography, in fact, is a cultural research. Why cultural research? Is not hindi siya itong gamit para sa mga initibo nga tao, para sa mga indigenous na tao. Mali ito. Ang indigeneity is different from being ethnographic. Ethnographic, it means to say culture. So medyo mali ang ating definition lang kung ang ibig sabihin natin sa Pilipinas, lalo na sa ating IPRA law, is, pero sa IPRA law, ang po siya niingon nga ethnography or ethnology but pasabot indigenous. Ang indigeneity, mo po natong klarohon, tabangitan nato propose po nato sa uban, ang kanang mga ambot o kinsabay nag-una yun ana Gladys, ang utana ko sa imo ha. Kisay nagmugna nga ang pronunciation sa indigenous kay indigenous. Unya ang pronunciation pod sa mga indigent kay indigent. Kisay nag-una ana kaya?
Language teacher, sir.
Language teacher na bayot, laki or babae?
Babae ba akong professor, sir? Pero siya,
Mali gyud siya nga pronunciation, wala, no such word.
indigent.
Indigent. Grabe. Pilipino kayo. Unya maulaw ta. Kay kana siya is lagi lang nagkuan ko imo na siyang samuton pag mispronounce pati pa kana mismo. Kay ngano kung ako gani mo sulat ko tan-awan ninyo ng Gascon McIntyre Mills. Giunsa na ako pag mo-mention indigenous people. Na-notice ninyo? Indigenous people, giunsa na ako pag spell. Capital I ko. Mao na siya sa anthropology. Sama ra po nga i-capital na ako ang government, i-capital na ako ang state, i-capital po na ako nation. So himo na ko siyang kuan siya, mas rather dili siya common noun kundi proper noun siya. Kay bro siya entitlement. You're giving respect to that particular type of a noun or that noun that is like pedestalic, more of a status. Do you get what I mean? Kasi itong anthropological ethnographic research is a type of research that is really giving rights, more credence, rights and also privileges to the person who is actually deserving to reserve the rights hitherto, but they are just hitherto again being deprived of that particular right. Now let me put it quite bluntly. It's wrong to be mispronouncing even the name of a person. Say, Ronel Daguhuyoy, anaon ka, malipay ka? Di ba dili? Marvin Gascon, di ko malipay. Hindi po ko kayo mangurek di man po na perminti mayon ko, ayaw ko ana kay ethnographic researcher ko, ethnographic professor ko, kaubo ko sa kuha. Di ba? So, borg dili sa ina nga paagi po, dili sa tanang panahon, pero academically, we are in a circle and then we need to agree that therefore there are these pronunciation that can be forgiven, mispronunciation, but there are also these that cannot be forgiven by all means. Say mispronouncing my name, mispronouncing my indigeneity, my being indigenous just because I am not popular, therefore you are pronouncing me as indigenous. Yun eh. You are pronouncing indigent because I am poor and you are therefore pronouncing it indigent. So yun. At saka usual ito, I don't know, in obrero, nobody is perfect. Pero yeah, that's correct. And especially in our field, in qualitative research, we are really not supposed to be striving for perfection. But look, the lesson really here, them themselves have been actually crying for, say, support, for, say, social justice to just really pave the way for their development. But they are now just being deprived of all these niceties in life. And so, therefore, we need to offer them something like a fresher idea, how to really put them more, say, in this particular process, how to emphasize more of them rather than less of them in the inquiry process. Can we all just agree that we are doing that? Because that, in essence, when you are doing ethnographic and anthropological studies, that is what is being championed here. Okay? Now, say, for gay people, yes, Gladys.
Sir, share lang sir, okay lang? Base
Go
akong
ahead.
base akong researcher ba tapos I've noticed that time is very important to the delivery riders.
Mhm.
So dahil ang oras ang nagbibigay sa kanila ng income. Oo.
Mhm.
So and the
Nag-introduce din mo sila.
oh, tapos sir kanang karon man gud sir naay murag panawagan sa social media because of the mataas na heat index. They're calling na dili mag-order sa kanina time frame ang mga tao ba na kay init kayo, luoy kayo ang delivery rider. So, parang naisip na ko, unsa pagbalanse ani kung imo silang anuhon, di ka mag-order kay tulon na kuan ka kay basig
Pwede
makuan
siguro
sila sa init,
ako Agis, develop
'di
ang
ba sir?
solution ng ni Mrs.
Oo.
Solution part sa among solution na din ni Mrs. kami ni diri sa balay. Di ba naay nag-text sa ato?
Apa, apa.
Oh, so prior to that ay mag-text sa ato. Nya duol ra man pud sa amo ang ilahang kanang dipo. Mabaktas ra man gikan diri sa amuang kuan, diri naman ko diri dapit sa may Talomo kaning sa may Solariega. So ang among buhaton, amo na silang imit dito mismo na sa ilahang dipo. Amo na lang habwaton to dito mismo sa ilaha during the time nga nigawas nami sa office ni Mrs. So dito na mo kuhaon ato mismo pero I think bayad lang gyapon siya for the same.
Yes, sir, yes, oo.
No, kana unta kung pareha mo sa amo nga medyo running na when it comes to kaluoy, di mo gyapon to kaluoy kay ang amo pod giisip nako na plus another thing, giisip nako pod ang katong comfort po nako di ko ganahan siging-sigingong ko abi kay mo deliver na nga burag end of the world na mga suko ba sila malate ka. Masuko po na sila nga maangol sila dito pag deliver wala ka. So mas okay to di ba kay klaro nga before 6 o'clock na naman gyud man diri bandang Talomo hapitan na mo dapit sa may puan ay di po dapit diri sa may puan sa may Santa Ana something na ATM or cooperative. Mao na. And then I think along that line nakasave og transpo si Mr. Driver, di ba? Now Gladys, you have a case. I know you can propose, do something about it, and I'll help you somehow. Now invite me. How can we find say reference, and that I think really is an environmental topic, and then vis-a-vis it's also like entitlement and social justice. Kasi life is on danger, di ba?
Yes,
Life is
sir,
on
oo.
danger.
Kaya
Life
gani
is on
sir,
danger.
maybe siguro for the future siguro sir I would like to dwell on despite of this risk and their condition but they opted to chose pa rin na maging delivery riders kasi ayaw nila na may amo. So what is the condition pala ng ating yung employee-employer relationship ba? Bakit mas gusto
Dapat
nilang
may
ganyan?
kahit na ganyan siguro dapat may cooperative. Kaya din ng mga pedicab drivers natin ilagay lang sa tamang lugar, ilagay lang sa tamang pagkalagyan, they can still form a people's organization. I think that's going to be your end product. That's going to be one of the things that you're going to propose because when they're a group, since all of them are considered to be like burag kalaban sa estado, kalaban sa komunidad kay dili sila pwedeng tagaan o ginato ka establisado ng mga kontrata. Therefore, kung magtinambayungay na sila, mahimo silang burag ka ng grupo, mahimong cooperative, powerful na sila. Di ba? Nanay protection sa bawat isa sa ilaha. Unya ikaw tong maging mismong trailblazer dito, ikaw ang mag-una, ikaw ang mag-create niya. Mo pud yata na imong paborito 'yun. Imong papa, remember, give justice to your papa. Well, just for the sake of saying something, Gladys. Right?
Sige sir, yes sir.
Okay. But I think that's really promising. That's why I'm really excited. Really excited. It's a new topic to me. But I will make sure that we will really do this, closely together. And also yourselves now, all of you, are welcome to contribute, even if you're busy with your topic. Kind of put yourself also in the shoes of, say, of these people around you so that you can help. Please. Okay? Erwin. Yes, Erwin. Go ahead. Go, Paring Erwin. Erwin, you're raising your hand? You are not audible. Yan.
Sorry, natuplukan lang.
Natuplukan lang. Sige, okay. All right. So, let me continue. Tapos na tayo dyan. So, ito yung mga early ethnographers. From comparative cultural anthropology conducted by early 20th century Itong siglo na ito 1884, 1942, si Malinowski, siya yung pinaka-nauna. But look, how was ethnographic research done? I don't like the view. I don't like the site. But this is just actually to typify vividly that for you to do ethnography, you are something different, an outsider. You can never be just one of these Micronesians who are here. They are from Micronesia, the small islands in the Pacific, South Pacific, no, not South Pacific. South Pacific ba? Micronesian islands. Just like Fiji and all of these. Yan sila eh. Islanders ito sila. Malinowski went there and he is a Polish. He died in 1942 and his study was like really interested in knowing how they do, what are their languages, what they actually mean when they say something else. So that's just really part of the study of Malinowski. And this is Margaret Mead, American. And just like Malinowski, comparative cultural anthropology pa rin, ang kanyang ginagawa is living with them, Micronesians pa rin. And siya ang na-consider na mother of anthropology or mother of ethnography. And recent ethnographers, recently scientific approaches to ethnography include cultural, cognitive anthropology. Meron ito na, pasok ng feminism, Marxism, ethnomethodology, critical theory, cultural studies, and postmodernism. Kung kayo'y pagod sa aking laging sinasabi, ito dahil ito dito sa tinatawag na, ito yung kampo ko. Ito dito lahat halos ang binabasa ko. Sa mga nabasa ko lahat ito halos sa feminism, Marxism, ethnomethodology hindi masyado, pero critical theory, ito yung pinaka-flavor ko, pinaka-charge meron ako, cultural studies and postmodernism. So lahat ito ay naipasok ko dahil I did something like social anthropology. So now here comes the types of ethnographies. There are these realist ethnography and the so-called critical ethnography. What does each means? Say for realist ethnography, it is a traditional approach used by cultural anthropologists. It is an objective account of the situation, typically written in the third person, dispassionate voice, objectively on the information learned from participants at a site. And this is more like akin to very, very slim difference between realist ethnography and the so-called phenomenology. Napakatin. Only that ito ay cultural sharing group pero ang phenomenology ay hindi. Rather on the phenomenon siya nakafocus. But here is another one, critical ethnography. The authors advocate for emancipation of groups. Yun yung kaibahan sa kanya. Dito sa realist ethnography, gina-study lang ang culture. Halimbawa, sayaw, kanta, etc. And then it will always be on the third person, dispassionate. Hindi ka morally at saka emotionally charged when you are actually describing the dance, the song, and etc. But it's still culture that you are actually describing. So to me, this is more in a sense, para siyang halos na phenomenology. Kasi may bracketing siya, hindi siya naghaharap at saka nakikisali talaga doon sa mismong inquiry at saka interpretation process. Pero sa critical ethnography, ito yung ginagawa ko most of the time. Authors advocate for the emancipation of groups. Ito, halimbawa, ginagawa ni Gladys, but she is not saying this is going to be critical ethnography because nevertheless, that can also still be done if you are using phenomenology. Okay? And so you must be able to develop critical question along that line. If you are confused, please develop a question. Critical researchers typically are politically minded individuals who seek through their research to speak out against inequality and domination. Well, critical mindedness here is not about you being being fussy with just anything. What is meant here is that you are just really questioning using critical theory, the processes, the systems, and people. Let's say if there are actually like abuses that you can actually pinpoint, and then you better say something about it, do a research about it. So that is something like a platform. This critical ethnography is a platform for you to actually speak out against inequality and domination. And that's based on the book of Karspiken and Apple. This is like where largely I am referencing when I did my own dissertation. Critical ethnography, a critical ethnographer studies issues of power, empowerment, inequality, iniquity, dominance, repression, hegemony, and victimization. All of these are my favorite. If you notice, I did like a sharing with you yung research ko on the victimization, male rape victim. Paano ito naging kwan? Kaya ko siya naintindihan dahil dito mismo. Okay, question ko pala. How many or pila sa inyo diri or kinsa sa inyo diri ang nakakita na? I know you are so di ko siguro kay busy man ta. Pero ako medyo ako ang way to actually tawag na unwind kung di ko makalaag is mutan-aw ko Netflix so pareho to no. And then kisa nakita sa inyo nga sa Baby Reindeer.
Nindot, sir.
Hindot kayo Gladys. Makabuang Gladys. Makabuang sa dili ko mustorya. Pero tanawan ninyo related kay sa ato ang science, related sa atong ginapangisgutan. 6 or 7 ba lang ka episode and you will never be sorry. Roderick, tanawa Roderick because this is also about story ng you know sa imong LGBTQ pero dili kaayo niya di pud siya anak ka vivid dili siya anak ka detailed pero heavy siya
Yes,
in terms of
sir.
brain in terms of you know
Unsa title ako, sir?
Baby
reindeer
Baby Shark.
baby reindeer bro siya baby kuan baby langga bro ginana god iyang tawagan nilang duha tanawan ninyo ha unya panyagit mo paguman ninyo tanaw. And this is about victimization. Ang theory is victimization theory ang gamit niya dyan. Tapos napakatalino ng writer mismo. Yang actor dyan is siya mismo iyang true to life story. Okay, let's continue. That was victimization. Procedures for conducting an ethnography. Determine if ethnography is the most appropriate design to use to study the research problem. But quite frankly, all of you are surrendering. You are not doing any ethnographic work kasi limited time. So hindi siya capable. Hindi kayo capable. But later on, when you will have the time during your dissertation, like one semester can be like one full time of data gathering is already good enough for an ethnographic study. And identify and locate a culture sharing group to study. Maybe you are wondering, therefore, what is really for me in ethnography? Will this make me popular? This will really make you popular, and this will even make you the deepest of the persons available in town or in the university. Because ethnographic research will really make you dig deeper into the problem, dig deeper into this set of population or say control group or say whatever, this target persons or research participants that you will involve in your study. And it will make you write books. And this is how you are going to develop also as well, how to write an article, how to write a book. Because writers of books are actually ethnographic, more of ethnographic writers. Sen, for example, Nussbaum for another. And then many of these that we are actually following, including Chambers, all of them did their own ethnographic research in their own cities, or even not their own cities, like say the story of Nussbaum. Nussbaum did her ethnographic study in India. But of course, obviously, she is not an Indian. She's still alive. Okay, so, but ethnography, identify and locate a culture sharing group. That's one procedure. And then another is that select a cultural theme or issue, say poverty, to study about the group. And then to study a cultural concept, determine which type of ethnography to use. Now, if you are studying poverty and it's a culture sharing group, so it has to be like a culture sharing group, and then it's poverty that you're going to uncover. And then determine which type of ethnography. You cannot just put, say, whether to select realist or critical ethnography. I think it's really helpful that you will choose critical ethnography because you can still question empowerment, whether there's lack of skill, lack of talent, and all of this, whether there is gender inequality. All of these are actually absent in the so-called realist ethnography. You will just study poverty and you will just describe poverty, how poverty is being like exhibited, how poverty is being nuanced, how poverty is unfolding to you on a day-to-day basis of your accounts, of your, say, interviews, and including your participant observation, what have you. So that's just actually the limitation of the so-called realist over the so-called critical ethnography. All right, so an ethnographer does this, gather information where the group works and lives. So this is called field work, and there is the reference. So I hope when you mention field work in your, say, work, you have to mention that this is actually nuanced or, say, cited from a reference. So you have now a friend who is named Walcott, and you just have to type this in the Google Scholar, Walcott 1999, and then field work. And then the article or the book of Walcott will just come out. Okay? No excuse that you can't. Okay, another is forge a working set of rules or patterns as the final product of this analysis. Well, of course, the final product is a holistic cultural portrait because it's a cultural study. It's basically the emic and plus the ethic. It's the data na meron sa field or fieldwork data, and then plus the theoretical data, those that you have read from your references from the journals and from the books. So the mixture of this emic and ethic will produce the so-called negotiated research output. So therefore, all ethnographic study or all studies in the qualitative method are basically ito yung pinaka na satisfy na condition. Emic plus ethic equals the qualitative study. But more so, pinaka mas applicable ito sa tinatawag na ethnographic na study. Ito lang naman ang ethnographic study na napaka-crazy. Ganyan yung parang talagang pakikipagsalamuha ba? Pakikipag-usap ba? O pakikipag-experience ba sa live realities niya? Live experiences niya? Ito, ganito. Yan si ethnographer, siya yung nire-research. Ganon yun, parang metaphor lang. So, gagawin niyo bang ganyan? So, yun yung ginagawa ng ethnographer. Pero hindi ganito ka-literal. Grabe, no? Kung inana ka-literal, burag, saka namaklad. Burag voyeurism na yata, ni. Lahi na na. Okay, so, challenges. The researcher needs to have a grounding in cultural anthropology and the meaning of social cultural system. Now, you know already what is anthropology, the science of, say, entitlement, rights, privileges, climate change, and etc. All of these nuances are not the sciences that you are most comfortable with. So if you're asking, why is anthropology now a science? Because anthropology is a thing. Anthropology is a thing, is a discipline wherein we can study gender inequality, gender equity, entitlements, privileges, and human rights. And these are not just ordinary social sciences. In general, these are all social sciences, but these are better categorized as anthropological sciences topics. Okay? So I hope you captured that. Say what is meant by anthropology and cultural anthropology and the meaning of the cultural system. Another challenge is the time to collect data is extensive, minimum of 6 months. That's what they say, Creswell, involving prolonged time in the field. But I say, and also it basically is on the nuance or premise of Gupta. And Gupta herself did her own ethnographic studies. I mean, plural studies ito in the past. And then, but what Gupta found out or recommended is actually on the premise that, well, ethnographic work can be like shortened depending on the extent upon which you can identify your topic or your problem. If you are actually, in fact, nearest to your problem or to the community you study, then therefore you don't have any problem with appreciation, with adjustment, with a lengthy participant observation. You can then therefore say and explain that in the so-called self-reflexivity that this topic, though I am oblivious, I am not familiar, but say nuances of this, episodes of this, I am quite familiar because I live nearest to the communities. I've experienced, and some of my friends experienced too, this particular problem. And so, therefore, you just have to look at where you are and why you are not really totally ignorant. And then remember, this is research. You are taking this to a level wherein it's different when you know something of a topic and you are actually entitled to say or speak something about the topic. Research is speaking and citing the topic in a more scholarly way, in a more scholarly fashion. You have to really take into serious consideration certain sequences, certain steps in order for you to really stay scientific. Remember, many of these, like in the categories and in the protocols that we've mentioned ever before, since we started, we know already what these sequences are. How to conduct interviews, how to conduct, say, focus group as opposed to, say, key informant interview. You know already what we mean by this. Okay, there is a possibility that the researcher will go native and be unable to complete the study or be compromised in the study. Ano ibig sabihin nito? Malamon ka mismo dito sa mismo sila. Di di nakamakitag balik. Pwede kang makidnap, pwede kang mawala diya sa eksena. Or pwede kang ma-assimilate na, unya sa assimilation nimo nawala na ka mismo sa imong study. Unya, di nakadayon mo padayon sa imong study. Hinapoy community nga moingon pud sa imuha during the ethnographic study nga moingon sa imuha nga there's just too much siguro too much conflict, too much interest pud nimo og too much passion na pud nimo. Remember, when you do your research, It is all right to feel, but you need to really demarcate. I mean, put mark how much you are going to play with the people in terms of feelings. Your feeling is not important, so therefore bracket your feelings. Even if you are actually interviewing the lowly, the most marginalized group of people, say children at that, and with their, say, mothers and fathers during that particular interview or sets of interview. Remember, don't be overwhelmed. You just have to really learn how to swim. Do not sink. Do not cry. Do not show human emotion. Because there, during that particular time when you will be interviewing them, it's them who would be needing you more of a support. Baka naman mamali, ikaw na ang kailangan ng support. Kaya ikaw ang nihilak, ikaw ang nagbako, ikaw ang ni-surrender na. Okay, that is what is also another, like, more chaotic and extra tuwan siguro. More sensate na nga, na example dito sa katong dilabot pasabot ato. And there is a possibility, ito na yon. So ethnography, more or less, ito yung mga steps niya. So hindi ko na din babasahin yan. And then case study. Ang case study din is different from ethnography, but it is supporting ethnography. A case study can also support other traditions. So okay, let us discuss case study and how can a case study be your method to when it's your time. Case study research involves a study of an issue explored through one or more cases within a bounded system. Okay, ito may example akong typical na case study. Meron akong estudyante, magaling siya. Her name is Andrea and she is studying, say, revenge pornography. Ito bang dati nag-sex kayo tapos you just actually agreed on each other that during that act you are going to film it, take videos or photos of it, but it's really more of a video. And then, but after all is said and done, things have gone oury and sour and bitter. And so there's always this change of heart, and with the change of heart is a change of course of things. And so maybe it's usually the boyfriend that will victimize the girlfriend. And then the boyfriend will say, well, accidentally, the video was just uploaded. It was all accident. Why accident? Because a friend of mine grabbed my phone or the phone. Actually, I lost it, and then they were able to, say, gather or meaning that's how the bad video proliferated. And so that's the usual story of the so-called revenge pornography. And where do they end up with? Usually, well, you just have to search the porn sites, and then if you search Pinay, and all of these are actually referring to the revenge pornography. And it's supposed to be a national project. And then, but during the course of the data gathering, very few have responded, and then only one actually really allowed interview. And it took her 2 years to actually convince even herself to finish the study. And I was really thinking all the while that it's going to be catastrophic if we are just going to base our, say, data. We will just base on the internet data, the discourses available in the porn sites. So she really went to all these porn sites, and she's really a more of a Hail Mary material to me. And she's really a woman, exuding a real characteristic of a woman. And may finesse, hindi tipong parang anong tawag niyan, Gladys, babasaging klaseng babae. Parang typical na Hail Mary type nga, yun ang nasabi ko. Hindi katulad mo, Gladys, ba na pwedeng ang lalaki mo basagon?
Kumpiyansa ka, sir, sa mga di babasagin.
Maldita gid ka. Okay, but anyway, yun nga, nalaman ko dyan dahil dun sa self-reflexivity. Okay. Now, ang ginawa niya, isang case study lang. Pero kung whether or not ang case study ba sa isa katao lang is a permissible and allowable and theoretical na ba ang output po niini, then I will show you later. State states that case study research is not a methodology, but a choice of what it is to be studied. So case is case. Case is one person, two persons, two organization, one organization. And a case within a bounded system is always an example of, kasi case dapat, case, bounded system, biktima ng mga, halimbawa, revenge pornography. Okay, so walang allowed dito mag-study at saka magkuha na merong case din sa inyo ng revenge pornography. Kasi wala tayong time sa inyo. Hindi kayo study ko. Or I mean study na aking estudyante. Pero joke yun, pero totoo yan. Kasi hindi kayo allowed na, ako sir, biktima ako ng kwan. Medyo masakit at malaking bagay. At saka pwede din niyang ipapulis ka agad. Pwede natin ipapulis ka agad yung boyfriend mo. And even without your permission. Kasi nakaangkla ito sa NBI at saka all other aspects ng investigation. Mahirap kasi siya i-pinpoint talaga din. So, others present it as a strategy of inquiry, a methodology, or a comprehensive research study. In my case, I use it as a strategy of inquiry. How? After, say, all the teams are identified, tatlong teams halimbawa sa study ni Gladys, so team 1, team 2, team 3, kada team yan, meron dapat doon mga significant statements, di ba, na ipasok mo doon. Remember the significant statements, those that you have coded as under that particular team, significant statements yon, di ba? Tapos, di ba maalaman mo din na yung mga significant statements na yon, ang parang sponsor noon ay galing lang sa halos isang tao or dalawang tao. So, ibig sabihin, kung isang tao yan, mas lalo na, so pwede ko siya, yun yung gawin kong case study. To describe, say, in that PowerPoint slide which you have been given, week 1 PowerPoint slide, can you remember the life of Anna? I've showed you as an example in the table of theory. So just like that, that is how a case study can be written. And it will just actually vividly typify, or it will just present, even if I will say Anna, not her real name, but all the circumstances of Anna is actually trying to put elements to the theoretical framework I developed, the so-called framework 1 or theory 1 or theme 1. All these themes are actually will become your theories. These are all your theories. You will be developing this, and this will be followed if these are published later on. Do you get what I mean? I hope you got what I mean. But quite honestly, there is this student of mine who is also very brave, nurse siya, sa obrero siya na PhD. Ang ginawa niya is case study siya, but really a methodology type. So yun siya. Meron din pala akong dissertation project din, development administration. Ang ginawa niya na case study is mga paaralan during the time of the new normal, ano yung mga experiences. So yun yung ginawa niya na study na comparative siya along the lines of the organization or mga HEIs in Cotabato na area. Okay? So in case study research, the investigator explores a bounded system, a case. Bakit siya bounded? Isang tao, isang organization, bounded siya. Or multiple bounded systems, cases, plural siya. Over time, through a detailed, in-depth data collection. Ang pinaka-emphasis nitong case study, kung sa investigation ba, halimbawa, A, B, C. Bounded ito sila, pero ang point mo, bakit mo sila gistudihan na multiple sila, is you would like to collect data. During this time, what is the reaction? During another time, what is the reaction? Different sets of time, different sets, let's say, of stimulus, titingnan mo kung ano yung mga reaction nila na common sa kanila. Ang pinaka-objective nito is syempre, malaman natin kung si poor A, then middling B, at saka si rich na C ay may same reaction ba over a particular, say, problem, and etc. Yun yung pinaka maganda for a case study. Okay. So, ang question siguro dito, ang case study ba, sir, mo ba ng controlled at saka experimental? Pwede, pero ang controlled and experimental, yun yung quantitative na part. Pero ito yung parang controlled, experimental, na qualitative ang ginagawa, conversation at saka observation ang kinukuha. Sources of data, observation, interviews, audiovisual material, documents, and many others, including pictures. Okay, types of case study, single instrumental case study, multiple, at saka intrinsic case study. So nandito yan, hindi ko babasahin yan bawat isa. Na-explain ko naman din kung singular siya. Kung multiple case study, ABC, meron ganon. Tapos ito yung intrinsic case study, the focus is on the case itself. Evaluation of a program as an example, or studying a student having difficulty. And then ito yung reference kung gusto mong mag-detalye pa nitong intrinsic case study. But intrinsic case study, regardless, pwede siyang individual lang, isa lang, at saka pwede ding multiple. Pero yung tinitingnan, focus is the case itself. Doon lang mismo. Ang pinaka-purpose niya is evaluating a program. Example niyan siya. Against the standard. Kasi halimbawa, kung meron kang standard na, grading standard for example, so kung ano siyang klase na learner, ito yung intrinsic case study. So you will dig deeper why the student is not able to conform with the rest. Kasi meron kang standard na tinatawag, and then meron kang mga protocols at saka sequences or steps or procedures na ginatawag. Pero why, despite, hindi pa rin siya. So alamin mo. Ito yung makuha nato sa intrinsic case study. So meaning, case study lang kasi nakafocus sa kanya. Hindi siya, ibig sabihin na nakafocus siya sa ibang tao during the time of interview. There's the tendency of you, even if you're interviewing the person, but the whole meaning and the motivation you are driving the conversation around will be much more motivated on the aspect of your knowledge of the other persons you have interviewed in the past. Do you get what